Hey guys, what is going on? So in today's video, I'm extremely excited to be talking about some John Lofgren camo sneakers. If you guys have been following me for a while, you'll know that I've never been the biggest sneakerhead in the world, but I got to talking to John Lofgren recently on Instagram. He's a super nice guy. I've done a few videos on some of his engineer boots so far, and I'm deeply impressed by the quality and everything that I see there. And he was kind enough to offer to send me a pair of sneakers to try out and review, and I said, hell yes, let's do it. They were also kind enough to send me a box of socks that comes with 2 pairs in there. Very nice. That's a $60 value in and of itself. This pack of socks comes with 2 pairs. These are sold at Standard and Strange for $60. So this is the 2-pack socks, camo olive and grained orange. So here we've got camo olive. Matches up very good with the camo sneakers, and grained orange. Beautiful. They both say John Lofgren Bootmaker on the bottom. Very cool. So manufactured in Japan on highly specialized sock knitting machines under the watchful eye of operators with decades of experience maintaining and overseeing them. Arch support is knit into the middle of the foot, ensuring a secure anatomical fit, while the toe and sole are knit with a plush terry interior for added comfort. These are knit with a 50-50 blend of cotton and acrylic, resulting in an even balance of softness and durability. The sock set features 1 pair of olive drab camouflage socks and 1 set of mottled safety orange socks. They have both medium and large, a 10-inch height. Medium fits US 6 to 9, large fits 9.5 to 12. Wash cold and hang dry. These are very luxurious socks, probably some of the best quality socks I've ever had. I do have a lot of Chup socks. I have a lot of Anonymous Ism socks from J. Crew. I do enjoy J. Crew socks as well, and these are definitely noticeably on par, I'd say, with those Japanese-made socks that J. Crew sells. Typically, I've only been able to afford those like $30, $35 options from J. Crew when they go on sale. So these, though, I can definitely tell these are definitely on par with Anonymous Ism, which are $30 to $35 a pair. For $60 for a set, you are getting very, very high quality socks, some of the best socks money can buy. So thank you, John, for making this happen. Let's go over the specs. So these are frog skin camo, it's called. So these are the John Lofgren Bootmaker Champion sneakers, World War II style US Marine Corps camo. They retail at $180. John Lofgren Bootmaker Champion sneakers are built in Japan at one of the last remaining vulcanizing rubber sneaker factories. The factory is owned by Moonstar, and they've been in the business since 1873. Our JLB Champion sneakers are built to a higher standard than the typical Moonstar sneaker. We supply our own heavier fabrics, use double thick soles, fabric tape all edges, and double stitch all stress points. Highly skilled craftsmen can handle all of our requests. We don't do typical. So this is lot number LK037. Japanese woven 100% cotton World War II style US Marine Corps camo uppers, vulcanized double layer rubber soles, Japanese made eyelets and vents, double stitched sewing, dense sponge insole, D width, made in Japan, built on the John Lofgren Champion last. Includes Japanese made John Lofgren Bootmaker box. Oh wow, I didn't realize the box was also Japanese made. And in addition to that, they also sell these same Champion sneakers in US Army olive drab and Japanese indigo denim. All retail at $180. Feeling these, the quality on the canvas uppers is very good. I could tell this is not cheaply made, and in fact, John Lofgren, the brand, the man and the brand, prides themselves on being 100% ethically made products. That's why John Lofgren has all of his stuff built in Japan, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. This camo cotton canvassing is super high quality. Yes, like he said, double stitched in the stress points here and here. Really nice choice of flat cotton laces. 7 eyelets. It's got a real grippy, like crepe vulcanized rubber sole, as well as rubber on the toe, rubber all around the bottom. We've got double vents here. And then on the inside, most noteworthy is the John Lofgren Bootmaker insole. It's really nice. They call that a sponge insole. Yeah, so I walked around in these on my recent trip to Florida, and I wore them out to the pool, and they were super good. I actually wore them sockless. John Lofgren recommends keeping your same size that you wear in his boots, and I agree. I reviewed a pair of John Lofgren engineer boots in black chrome XL. Those were a size 8 and those were a half size small on me, so I actually exchanged them for these engineers right here. These are flathead engineers in a size 8.5. My John Lofgren size is 8.5. I can tell just by the size 8s that I had previously, and so these in an 8.5, perfect fit. I can wear them with thin socks, thin medium weight socks. I also wear them sockless. They're super grippy, super comfortable, super breathable, so very good. I actually plan to take these on my Hawaii trip in July for my wife and I's 10-year wedding anniversary. So these will be going with us there. Hopefully get some good hikes in. So real quick sizing. So if you guys have the Grant Stone Coast sneaker, these are my Grant Stone Coast sneakers in tobacco. Just to give a size comparison, left shoe, left shoe. So the length by my eye, yeah, the length looks identical. The John Lofgrens appear a little bit more narrow, but what we're comparing here is a leather upper against a canvas upper, so the looks can be deceiving. What I can tell you is the canvas is going to be a lot more forgiving. It's going to have a lot more movement. Like I said, it's a fabric. These might appear just a little smaller. I don't think they're actually smaller, and especially when it comes time to wear them, they feel like the same size to me. The Grant Stone Coast sneakers are in a size 9. They're true to size, and I wear 8.5 on the Grant Stone Leo. Going true to size on these is definitely good advice. I also wear these sockless as well. If they were missized, then wearing them sockless would be difficult. I do think it's a perfect fit at a size 9. Same with these John Lofgren sneakers at a size 8.5. So yes, go the half size down from Brannock and you will be good to go there. And then a little bit more on the brand. I was studying up and I found an interview from 2018 by Elliot Young with Standard and Strange. I will leave a link to this article in the description below, but it was quite a lengthy interview and I learned quite a bit about the John Lofgren brand and the man himself. So John Lofgren moved to Japan in the 90s to study vintage clothing. He said he wanted to gain a more in-depth knowledge about what made the clothes valuable in Japan, about the fabrics, the construction methods. He said today it would be silly to move to another country for that purpose since there are so many people into that niche. But back then it was only dealers into vintage design. And the only concern was how much money can be made off of certain pieces of vintage. Japan was where the best vintage was, and this was the place to be around others that had a genuine interest in clothing, not just the monetary value. Elliot asked, in the Western world, when it comes to clothing, there's a heavy perception of mysticism and superiority of Japanese-made goods. Is this something that you find to ring true? And John Lofgren says, yes, it very much rings true. There's 1,000 different reasons why this is. Japan is an ancient culture that has had thousands of years to develop a love and appreciation for the arts. They're a culture that values the master-artisan and apprentice relationship. In Japan, it's common for people to study under a teacher to develop their talent. You see this in the traditional arts of Japan and not the so-called arts like apparel design and leather craftspeople. In Japan, you have fewer choices of bag makers, but most are extremely high quality. And then John Lofgren details his first days going through Japan, and I found this quite interesting. He said he spoke to probably over 1,000 people in the footwear business, and out of those 1,000 people, there's only a few dozen that share his particular enthusiasm. Those are people that he works with. He says he loves to visit factories. It's one of his favorite things to do. It's like going to Disneyland for him. I can only imagine because I love to go see where things are made myself now. As a kid, not so much, but now I definitely would be interested. He said, I get to see what's going on, the workers' faces, the cars they drive, how clean the facilities are. You spend enough time around these places and you can tell how the company treats their employees. You can tell if they're being paid a living wage or not. This part really resonated with me. He says, when he was 20 years old, he traveled through Egypt. He walked into a tour that stopped by a rug weaving factory. The guide proudly showed us the skilled children whose tiny fingers were needed to weave the colorful wool weft yarns through the warp. The tiny girl in front of me couldn't have been more than 5 to 7 years old. It's not like I became an activist right then and there, but a seed was planted as I thought, that poor thing should be in kindergarten, not here weaving rugs for tourists. The seed germinated while John was in China, attending Beijing University. He said, as a class we visited some factories. I was also allowed a lot of time to roam around various Chinese cities in the countryside. He discovered the harsh reality that workers were receiving minuscule pay, and he found this very jarring. What else I found very interesting, and I could sort of relate to this a lot, is John Lofgren says his design process is very in-depth yet simple at the same time. Elliot asks, your stuff is all quite heavily heritage and repro inspired. What's the first step in creating a new style? And John Lofgren said, and I really resonate with this, he says, I usually answer questions like this simply, which is that I make what I want to wear and rely on the customers and I having the same taste. I never look at it as targeting a certain customer base when developing a boot or shoe. That feels disingenuous. If I don't want to wear it myself, then naturally I don't want to make it. What else I like about John Lofgren is he does a lot of research. He says in his office in Japan, he has a small library of vintage apparel and footwear related books and catalogs that date mostly from the 1890s to the 1950s. He's always on the lookout for interesting vintage shoes and boots. It's not rocket science, but I love it. He says he has 100% freedom to do what he likes and creative license over what he does. I could relate to that on so many levels because that's kind of what I do with my bag building. I have full creative license to design things, to cut things to my own preferences, and there's so much freedom in that. It's so freeing to start leatherwork or to start design like John Lofgren did with vintage garments and not copying them, but recreating them today using better materials, more robust materials, creating a better version of what these vintage items were today. That's what I think he's really doing here, and it's quite inspiring to see. So, with that said, I'll shut this review down. I am a big fan of everything John Lofgren has been doing lately, and particularly when he runs a sneaker, which I've never been traditionally a sneaker guy, but I am rediscovering them, their simplicity, their ease, how cool they are to walk in. Are they my favorite look? I still love the look of a boot. I still feel complete in a pair of boots, but if it's a hot day and I'm just wearing shorts and a t-shirt that day, or if I'm roaming around in my bathing suit, then a sneaker is what I'll be reaching for. So anyways, let's keep the love of sneakers alive, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see y'all in my next video.